everyone, welcome back. Today I have some brand new Dollar Tree Easter and Spring DIYs because it's right around the corner and I'm ready for warmer weather. If you're new to my channel and you like home decor and DIYs on a budget, make sure to stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. Okay, let's get into the DIYs. For this DIY, I'm going to use one of the 8x10 canvases from Dollar Tree and I'm going to reverse canvas it. I love using these canvases for all different sorts of DIY projects. So I'm just going to use a box cutter from Dollar Tree and I'm going to score the back of the canvas from the staples and just peel off the canvas and set the canvas aside to use later. Then I am going to use these wooden dowels from Dollar Tree. I used 4 of them and I am just going to cut them to the size that I need with scissors. You can use a little hacksaw or whatever works best for you. Scissors worked just fine, but I cut them so that they fit snug in between my frame. So I did 2 longer ones and then I cut 2 shorter ones for the opposite side. So I put the 2 longer ones in first and then I flipped it over and I cut the 2 shorter ones and I put those on the back so that it looked like a Tic Tac Toe Board or a hashtag or whatever you want to call it. And that is what I'm going to be making, is a Tic Tac Toe Board with this. So once I got those fit snugly inside the frame, I did want to go ahead and glue them down just to make sure they didn't move. So I just used a little bit of hot glue for this, but you could definitely use wood glue and let it dry and it would definitely work a lot better because the hot glue dries really fast. You have to work really quickly getting those back in. And then I wanted to go ahead and stain the whole piece. So I used a little bit of the brown acrylic paint from Dollar Tree mixed with some water and I just brushed that on to the back and the front of this and let it dry. Now I'm just going to go ahead and reattach the canvas to the back of the frame. You can use whichever side of the canvas you would like to show on the front. And then I'm just going to use hot glue to attach everything. And I used my box cutter to cut the excess canvas from around the edges of the frame. And then for the X's and the O's, I'm going to use these bunnies and carrots from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to paint both the backs and the fronts of them. I did start off by painting the bunnies with some of this pink acrylic paint, but decided that it just looked too bubblegum pink for me and I didn't like that. So I decided in the end to change that and I'll show you here in just a second. The carrots, I used some orange acrylic paint and then the tops of the carrots, I used just some chalk paint in the color oatmeal. And then here is where I repaint the bunnies. This is some chalk paint in the color castle and it just looks a lot better with the carrots. After all of these were dry, I put them in one of these little bunny bags. And I think this could be such a cute Easter present for Easter basket or just a cute piece of decor for Easter. For this DIY, I'm going to use one of the Dollar Tree plungers. I already stained my stick a while back and I'm just going to remove the plunger part just to use the stick. And I'm going to use one of these foam soccer balls from Dollar Tree. I used my box cutter to cut an X in the center so that way I could take my plunger stick and shove it down in there and use a little hot glue to secure it. Then I'm going to use 8 bunches of these white hydrangeas from Dollar Tree and I just used some wire cutters to cut the tops off. Now I'm just going to stick the hydrangeas inside the styrofoam ball, starting from the bottom, working my way up towards the top. I did use a little hot glue to secure the ends of the hydrangea stems inside the styrofoam ball, just to make sure it held really well. And I just worked my way around the ball until it was all filled up. Then I took this stuff, which I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's wired and I love the color of it. So I thought it worked perfect to just wrap around the hydrangeas, and then I just cut it off and hot glued the ends to the underside of the stick. Now I'm going to take one of these planter pots from Dollar Tree and a styrofoam block from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue that block inside the pot, and then I'm going to stick my bottom of my stick inside the styrofoam block and use some hot glue to secure it. Now to fill up that space there, I'm just going to use some paper bags, and then on top I'm going to fill it with some white rocks from Dollar Tree, and I love how this turned out for spring. Before I get started on my next DIY, I want to give you guys a sneak peek of my new project series coming soon to my channel, and that is this 1967 fan travel trailer makeover. I got this off of Facebook Marketplace from a couple of seniors in high school. They bought it off of a farm where it had been sitting for about 40 years, and they did partially gut it, but unfortunately they were not able to continue to work on it, so I was lucky enough to snatch it up, and I have so many ideas for it. I'm hoping to turn it into my studio for my videos, but also a camper and so much more. I want to take you guys along on this journey with me. I'm going to be taking polls on my community tab on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram so I can get you guys' help with design and style. And I'm still going to be doing my regular DIYs, but these videos are just going to be an added extra fun bonus on my channel. This next DIY, I'm going to use 3 of these glass candy jar containers from Dollar Tree. At least that's what I'm going to use them for, as candy jars. I'm going to go ahead and remove these stickers off the bottoms. They are pretty sticky, so I did bust out the goo gone for this and scraped off the stickers. After I used that, it was super easy for them to come off. And then I'm going to use the rest of these treat sacks from the first project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the tags from the inside because I don't want those to show, so I just cut those out. And then I removed the lid from one of the jars, and then the lid fits perfectly inside one of these bunny treat bags. So you just slide it in, and then you can just do what you would normally do, and that is tie the twine around the top to make the little bunny ears. I did cut the slit for the bunny ears just a little bit more so that way they would stand out just a little bit more. And then I just went ahead and put the lid back on the jar and did the other 2 the same way. The lid does not close tightly with these on there. They just kind of pop on and pop off, so you won't have a airtight seal anymore. But again, I'm just using this for candy, and it's going to be eaten pretty quickly. Then I used some of these pom-poms from Dollar Tree to put little tails on, and I filled them with some jelly beans and some mini Cadbury eggs, and this turned out super cute for some candy jars for Easter. For this last DIY, I used one of these plastic garden dishes from Dollar Tree. I removed the stickers from the top and the bottom. They were a lot easier to remove than the last ones. And I found these glass mosaic tiles from Dollar Tree. I picked up 4 packages of them, and I used them to cover the inside of the bowl. I just used hot glue to secure them down, but you could definitely use super glue. It would give it a stronger hold, but I didn't have any problem with the hot glue. and them coming up or anything like that. So I just hot glued them all around the inside of the bowl. I didn't have any pattern or anything that I was following. You could definitely make a pattern, or you could try to make a picture inside. I just wasn't that creative, and I thought it looked pretty just being sporadic anyways. The only thing I did do is make sure around the top edge of the bowl that I did get a nice layer so that it would be even. And I just continued doing that. Once that was finished, I used some of this lightweight spackle from Dollar Tree to fill in the gaps and the cracks between the tiles. You could definitely use grout if you had some, or you could use the white caulk that Dollar Tree sells. I've used that before, and it's a little bit hard to remove from, well, I didn't use these tiles, but I used the little glass beads from Dollar Tree, and it's hard to remove from those beads, so I figured it would probably be a little bit more hard to remove from these mosaic tiles. So I opted for the lightweight spackle, and I think it worked perfectly fine. It's definitely not waterproof, so you can't use this outside, but I think it looks pretty inside for just like keys or things like that. So after I got the spackle all spread out with the spatula, I came around with my finger and I just lightly wiped around it just to clean off some of the tiles and smooth off the edge, and then I let it dry for 24 hours. Once the inside of the bowl was dry, I flipped it over, and I'm going to use some spray paint to cover up the outside of the bowl so that way you can't see the tiles and the spackle. I used the chalk paint in the color Serenity Blue and gave it a couple coats, and I think this turned out super pretty.
Jump into the car on a Friday night, I wanna drive with you. Looking for a bar in the nearest town, I've never seen a sky so blue. We don't ever play it in the night.
Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I hope that you follow me along with my camper makeover journey, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.